It's shortly after 8:30, and I'm calling this meeting of the Neighborhoods and Community Enrichment Committee to order. Mr. Villanueva, can you please call the roll?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hutt.
Present.
You have two members in a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Before we get started, I just want to say a few words about what's before us on this agenda today. First of all, thank you for being here so bright and early on a Wednesday morning and for committing to that. Thank you, Councilmember Hood and everybody in this room. I know a lot of us are feeling a little exhausted from the last 2 weeks of budget conversation, so I really appreciate y'all being here. We have a lot of exciting items that we'll be voting on today, including hiring for our badly needed animal service veterinarians, expanding the spay and neuter voucher program that helps lower income families afford the joy of having a pet. And my colleague, Councilmember Rahman, has two motions before the committee that would increase transit connectivity in Griffith Park. Hopefully setting a standard that the rest of the city can follow for all of our really beautiful parks. I'm honored to share this committee, which deals with such vital neighborhood level issues that create public safety, help support those experiencing mental health issues, provide opportunities for our young people, and aim to make all of our city accessible for everyone. The motions, contracts, and grants that come before this committee are so exciting because they deal with the immediate issues and the needs that constituents call for our offices for every day. And as we are in this moment, we are focused on creating the budget for the city's next year. I want to highlight that the steps we will take today outside of the budget conversation will also have a direct impact on providing the services, spaces, programs, and quality of life that the community is so rightly demanding of us. So with that, and again, gratitude, can we go ahead and open up the public comment, please?
Mr. City Attorney, do you mind going over the rules for public comment? Is that,
Do you have them?
Yeah, for folks who'd like to sign up for public comment, if you're speaking on general public comment, you have 1 minute. If you sign up for multiple items, you'll have 2 minutes. So if you sign up for the items in general public comment, you have a total of 3 minutes.
oh, Mr. Villanueva.
Can,
Our first speaker is Herman.
sorry, Sandy,
Oh,
if you
sorry.
want, if you wanted me to go through in specific, other than to sign up, just to the members of the public calling or here to speak, please state your name and the number which you're going to speak on. And when you're speaking on the agenda items, please keep to the agenda items. You must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as possible. We don't see that many in the audience today. But if you do not immediately get back on topic, or if you stray off topic, go forward with the rest of your time. We'll move on to the next speaker. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Herman, if you don't stay on the agenda, we're gonna sit you back down, okay?
Well, first of all, good morning, and I'm speaking on all items and
Wonderful.
non-agenda public comment, which allows me
Wonderful.
3 fucking minutes.
That's great, but
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
deter
So,
from the
on
agenda.
item 1, regarding the veterinarian recruitment, I really hope you do something to make sure that those vouchers really, truly, honestly go to what they're meant to be. Because when my fucking dog died 5 years of age due to a stone in the bladder, and the fucking niggers didn't accept the voucher from the county, that really got me upset. I almost wanted to kill myself, losing my pet like that.
Sorry.
And that's a service dog. That's not your fucking stupid animal that you guys just, when they're young, they're beautiful and you care for them, and then when they get a year old, you treat them like fucking dirt, trash, like the rest of us fucking
We're
niggers
talking about
that live in LA.
veterinarians, Mr.
Yeah.
Herman.
Yeah,
We're talking about
I'm
other
giving you
things.
my scenario.
No scenarios.
Well, there's got to be scenarios in life.
It's
Otherwise,
okay.
life would be so fucking boring. And then we go into Mr. Bob Bloomniggerfield and Lee regarding what? Runatamidi Street, whatever the fucking that means. Fuck them. And then we go into item 5, ramen noodle, transportation nigger buses that are always late, never pick us up on time. That means you have to leave your house early like me at 4:30 in the morning just to get here at 8:30 to fucking deal with this shit. And then we go into, again, another ramen noodle. What the fuck has she been doing with this Heritage Autry Museum shit? Get your fucking ass out there and actually do a physical observation of what you're requesting here about the transient stop. That's bullshit. And then we got the Board of Rec Parks Commissioners. Fuck them on item 8 for the record. And then, oh, let me go back up a little bit. I missed one. 7. Proposition 64, youth community access. Well, let's just make sure that fucking cops stop fucking young children, and these reports about adults fucking children is getting out of hand. You know?
This is
Ever
not
since-
about that, Mr. Herman. It's about
yes,
Prop
it is. It
64,
has to do with
cannabis
youth
legalization.
access programs.
Cannabis legalization programs,
And
yes,
now
not
into
other
my
things.
non-agenda public comment. United States versus Bagdasarian. I'll read into the record. Shoot the nig, lest this country be fucked for another 4+ years, because never in the history has black person done anything right. And I think Biggie Smalls was right.
That has nothing to do with the agenda.
This is non-agenda public
General
comment.
comment? Okay.
And Biggie Big was right. Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. would say, this fucking society of ours is all fucked up. And just because a brother like me is trying to hustle to feed my family and get my children a good education, dumb nigger like me have to bust a nut and work double time while the fucking DA tries to put me behind bars, simply to hustle. Now, regarding Watts versus the Supreme Court, U.S. 394, 705-06, I have got to report to my physical this Monday coming, but if they ever make me carry a rifle, the first fucking man in my sight, the motherfucker says he shoot. That's all protected free speech.
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
Oh,
Bye. You're done,
here's
sir.
my public comment in reference to that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Andrew Montealegre.
Good morning.
Notes on what I'm going to say today, but I thought I was disappointed with everything, but I am disappointed, and I'm disappointed very much about this.
Sir, are you doing general public comment only, or are you
No,
speaking on
on
agenda?
item 3.
Item 3, okay.
Yeah. But I'm a little bit overwhelmed, even more overwhelmed by the reason why I'm here on item 3 after what I just heard. I'm just sorry. The communication on this item has been terrible, terrible, and I was overwhelmed and I was very unhappy, and it's been going on for a long time. It's not just limited to this motion, but the proposals to operate the center remains closeted. What was going on before and what's going on now, it remains closeted. I want to give the committee some examples of the work I have been doing for over a year on trying to air this issue out into the open, and it's still not working. It's still very much repressed. For example, I have not been included in public communications. I've got no answers from city staffs and offices. I've been restricted access to ask questions. I expressed transparency issues
your
with
time
the
is up, but
previous
if you-
council office. Okay.
If you also have general public comment, you can give another minute of general public comment. Yeah.
It's just very, very frustrating on trying to be transparent and getting answers on what's going on with the Glassell Park Community Center. The seniors cannot speak for themselves. One of them is in the hospital. One of them has shingles. She represents a group of 100. I'm all over the place representing different constituencies, so it's tough. It's tough for them to get here, so I'm speaking on their behalf also. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Gladys Pinto Munoz. Okay.
I'm talking on behalf of Gladys because she's
Sorry.
has a family emergency.
Sir, it's, you
Well,
can't, unfortunately, you can't share time, but if you have written comments, you can submit
I
for the
do have
record.
written comments
Yeah.
from Gladys. Okay.
Thank you. So our next speaker will be Bradley.
Good morning, council members. My name is Bradley. I'm actually representative of 2 or 3 different groups or organizations.
Sorry, just before we start your time, just to confirm, are you speaking on agenda items and general
Oh,
public
I
comment?
do apologize. I'm speaking on agenda item 3.
And general public comment or not?
I'm sorry?
And general public comment or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Please, I'm sorry. Eunice knows.
Of course,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
please.
good, you're good.
Yeah. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the use of the Glassell Park Community Senior Center. I read over the motion that's being presented in front of this committee and will be referred to the Government Action Committee. The public space for which we advocated for 25 years ago is now being reduced and restricted to only 3 groups. Of the 7 groups that operate within the Glassell Park community, our public space is very, very important. And the idea of the motion only being restricted and excluding the other 4 to 6 groups that we have in our community is problematic here. We have Community Police Advisory Board, we have Neighborhood Watches, we also have other groups and organizations. We have a business chamber that will be being created this year as part of our work with Council District 1 and Council District 13. Please understand is that our public spaces are very, very important in our community, especially in the Northeast LA area and East LA area.
You have another minute.
Our council members know that we have a lack of not only open spaces but also public spaces. And the idea that a motion in play to allow for Rexon Park to control our public spaces is a problem. There's a $300 facility use permit application requirement, and also there's a $35 to $40 an hour for staffing. None of the groups and organizations that we work with in the community can afford that fee. So the idea that we can restrict our public spaces to only those that can afford it is a problem with me and many constituents in the Council District 1 and Council District 13 area. Thank you so very much for allowing me to voice my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Donald Harlan, and I believe you signed up for all items and general public comment.
Hi, I'm Donald Harlan. Hi, good morning. I was just looking at some of the agenda items. I was concerned that some of the committees, like the neighborhoods and enrichment committees, were steering resources from other funds that shouldn't be used. It seems that a mayor showed up with a lot of new ideas and plans and, you know, ways to be innovative with agenda items or change the words and things. You know, often when they do that, they end up with it or try and prove it's theirs or something like that, or it gets out of control like that. I just came over here to look at go about some of the items. You know, be careful about taking money from grants, from settlements. You know, they have fake settlements, you know, like Marathon Oil settlement. And Standard Oil's got to pay money for natural resources or something. And you find out later on that's not a real case, or they have fake judges or something. Some political candidate made it up in a pocket court somewhere nobody's ever heard of and got impeached out of office or something. You know, you don't really know. So just check. I just was wondering, you know, I just was worried that it's not just that they're getting political leverage, trading jobs to get into office and cover for themselves, to try and claim immunity. You know, they get in trouble and play forward by going to trying to say, okay, we're running for the next higher office, you know, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you end up with a supervillain on top of the pyramid, you know. I hope you guys aren't trying to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Harlan.
Thank you. And with that, there are no more, unless there's anyone who didn't sign up. Okay, then that concludes public comment.
Sign them up next time, Mr. Herman. We'll get them in, okay? Thank you, Zanti. Thank you. As there are no more speakers, public comment is now closed. Members, if there are no objections or questions, I would like to take items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 on consent. Any objections? None. Thank you, Councilwoman. Seeing none, Mr. Villanueva, can you please read those items into the record and then call the roll? Read all of them?
Item 1, motion Hernandez McCoster relative to the request for the Department of Animal Services to report on vacancy rates for veterinarians, their current and comparable salaries in the private sector with comparable job descriptions to that of a DAS veterinarian, recruitment efforts, and recommendations to expeditiously hire veterinarians to fill existing vacancies, including updated pay bands and the necessary resources needed to achieve that goal. Item 2, motion Hernandez Soto Martinez relative to enhancing the Department of Animal Services to spay and neuter voucher program, adjustments to the voucher program to increase the amount of veterinarians who accept the vouchers, and increasing the amount of vouchers issued and related matters. Item 3, motion Hernandez Soto Martinez relative to the lease agreement caretaker and manager for the Glasso Park Senior and Community Center located at 3801 Eagle Rock Boulevard. Item 4, motion Blumenfield Lee relative to the operating hours of Running Mid Park located at 20,200 Running Mid Street in Council District 3. Item 5, motion Raman Hernandez relative to the redeployment of Los Angeles Department of Transportation buses as a pilot transit to park service connecting the existing Metro B-Line Red to the park's northern amenities, including the zoo and related matters. Item 6, motion Raman Hernandez relative to building a transit stop for southbound Western Heritage Way on the west side of Western Heritage Way near the crosswalk to the Autry Museum and in line with the existing northbound transit stop and related matters. Item 8, Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners report relative to requests for a retroactive approval to submit an application for funds from the United States Tennis Association 2022 Wheelchair Tennis Grassroots Grant.
Thank you so much.
For the vote, Councilmember Hernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hutt,
Aye.
2 ayes, and all the items are approved.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Villanova. Let's now move on to item 7. Mr. Villanova, please read the item into the record. Or may I have your name?
Such.
Sachin?
Yes.
Thank you, Sachin. Can you please read it into the record? Thank you.
Item 7, Board of Recreation and Park Commissioners report relative to the retroactive approval to submit an application to the California Natural Resources Agency under the Proposition 64 Youth Community Access Program grant for the 2022 application cycle.
Thank you, Sochil. I had some questions. Do we have someone from Rec and Parks here who can tell us a little bit about the grant program? Looks like they're not here, so we'll have to follow up with them. We don't wait for them to come, right? We can follow up with them after? Thank you, Mr. Harlan. Okay, so just for the record, I'm just gonna state what I wanted to know, and if someone could get that to them, I think we can follow up with them, is Prop 64, legalized cannabis, 60% of those cannabis tax dollars at the state level is supposed to come back to young people, programs for young people, supportive services, housing, employment, all the things, but specifically for our young people. And this is one of those programs that gets funded through those cannabis tax dollars. And my question was, it's great to hear that there's 60 participants that are being selected, but how are they being selected is my question. How are we picking these young people? Where are they from? How are we making sure that this process is equitable, to make sure that those communities that have been most devastated by the war on drugs and the policies of the war on drugs get to reap some of those benefits of that reinvestment? So that was just my question, and we'll get that to them. But Zanti, can I just go to the next part now? Okay. Yes, Councilmember Hud, do you have any questions or comments, thoughts on this?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to move forward with the item. Mr. Villanova, can you please call the roll?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez, Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hutt,
Yes.
2 ayes, and the item is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Villanova. Mr. Villanova, is there anything else before the committee?
The desk is clear, Madam Chair.
Thank you. This committee is now adjourned.